evening. My name is Tiffany Downey, and I was an English teacher before I had the opportunity to start working with the professional learning team where I've been this school year. We all have a deep desire to be seen, except for maybe right now. I don't really have that desire, if you know what I mean. But this juxtaposition that I'm feeling right now is as real as the juxtaposition that I experienced when shadowing 2 students last fall. Although both students had much in common with regards to their quirky academic abilities being gifted and quick-witted, thoughtful, funny, their school days played out in radically different ways. Student number 1 was frequently addressed by peers and teachers, consulted for her opinions by young and old alike, appreciated for her contributions, and joined in laughter and hugs at appropriate times. Our educational system seems to be serving her well, and I have no doubt she will continue thriving as a scholar as she continues her PSD journey toward graduation and beyond. On the other hand, was student number 2. She spent most of our time together engaged, but not with school. From watercolor painting during math to cutting and pasting an elaborate envelope during English, she was mostly ignored as she dabbled in the finer arts. And yet she still periodically volunteered answers and tried to connect with the adults in her classrooms. She was a leader in her own learning in many ways, but it was not the learning being promoted from the front of the room, and yet no one seemed to care. After that day, I ultimately felt really sad. Student number 2 was slipping through the cracks, and I was left with a few wonderings. First, I wonder why no teacher addressed the second student in order to push her closer to achieving her potential. Why no one told her to put away the art supplies just for now and participate fully in this moment. I cannot imagine that this was the first time she chose to bring her art supplies to school and take each 45-minute class period as an opportunity to pursue her artistic passions. The realization brought me to tears. Second, I wonder what students think when they see this kind of child getting away with whatever they want. The one whom they ignore, they just keep ignoring. Why don't they challenge her to participate? Don't they find something wrong with the classroom puzzle when she's obviously opting out? Is it really that easy to discount the student whose elbow keeps bumping yours as she reaches for scissors or glue as opposed to raising her hand to answer? Third, despite the many items she brought with her to the classroom, student number 2 did periodically try. I wonder how much longer she'll keep putting her voice in the room. It seems apparent that people are indifferent to her choices to be engaged or disengaged as long as she does not do too much distraction to others. If I were in her shoes, I'd keep pushing that boundary to see how far I could go, how outrageous my art project had to become in order to be seen. And fourth, most importantly to me, I wonder how many students, like student number 2, I chose to let slip off my radar because they weren't hurting anyone else. That because they were quiet, they got the short end of the stick. So what's my closing? Well, I think it probably all comes down to relationships. For some students, it's easy to bond and make meaningful connections. It's just natural. And for others, they need a little extra. Thank you.